Welcome to the Tarp Report with Sam and Jess. Hey!
If you don't get booked for a show, Sam, do you email the booker and harass them and ask them why the hell you weren't booked, and for them to explain themselves? And then do you say do you say I don't feel welcome because you won't book me? Am I not allowed around you? You're booking because because I want to be booked, and I should be booked because I want to be booked, and you're a booker, so book me. You are not doing your job as a booker right now. You have one job and that's it, and you're not doing it. I am supposed to be booked. Now book me. Now, as a woman, wouldn't you want to book me?
Damn.
So
before the podcast, Jess was like, I'm saying it. Like, I'm going to talk about it. Someone's got your goat.
Geez Louise, is that, I mean...
Well, so that was like a question. I was waiting for the question to stop, and then I was going to answer. And the answer that I would say
yes,
is...
tell me, would you? Would you now?
Is no, I've never done that because if somebody doesn't book me, then that means I should probably just look someplace else. And it makes me sad, and I want to say stuff like that, but I don't.
Do you then? Well, you just don't. That's interesting. Okay, because some approach would be to if one outlet doesn't work, then try another one. Mm-hmm. So first, maybe let's try Facebook, and when that didn't work. Mm-hmm. Now they're resorting to regular email. I'm wondering if it will. I mean, it's going to be a really long smoke signal.
Have they hit you up on TikTok yet?
No, not yet. We'll get there.
Messages on TikTok?
I'm not kidding. It was a fucking novel. And like I of all of the things that I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
I know I'm not doing, I'm not a booker. Like, I mean, I am, because it's what I fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm actually doing a really good job at it.
I believe so.
But like the entitlement of like certain comics is like, it's insane. Mm-hmm. Like, just be funny. Have you tried being funny? Mm-hmm. That will get you booked. That and not being an asshole. Mm-hmm. Like, don't be like, I have people who email me every single week. Yeah. And they're pleasant as can be. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Jess, oh, hey, just wanted to send you my avails. Hey, Jess, know you're busy. Just wanted to send my stuff your way. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. And I know, and I'll fucking get there because I am busy. Mm-hmm. So it's just absolutely, like, I feel like I'm being threatened. Like, I'm being asked to explain myself when I'm like, I don't like, I'm being told what industry standards are. Like, it's industry standard. I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't sign anything.
You got, yeah. I think.
Are you, what? We're talking about it and you don't have anything to say?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I was about to talk.
Oh, God, my armpits are sweating.
Yeah. Oh, Jess is fired up. No, I was about to talk.
Mad. Okay.
Stand-up comedy attracts a certain type of individual that already probably doesn't have the best boundaries or communication styles. It attracts a lot of people with untreated mental illness, untreated addiction, stuff like that. And the idea that somebody has their finger on the button and they're not going to press it for them is very upsetting.
Right, of course.
However,
we all feel that.
However, this is where this turns into your favor, is that it's not acceptable to treat people disrespectfully just because they don't believe in you as much as you believe in you. Mm. It's good to believe in yourself. Right. But if the gulf between what you think about your comedy and what other people think about your comedy causes you to take actions that are that make other people uncomfortable, like, you're fucking up. So whoever's doing this is fucking up.
Right.
If people don't want to book you, they don't have to book you. Right. Nobody owes you shit.
No, exactly.
Like, nobody owes you shit. If I am a person who, through my own actions, as well as actions that had nothing to do with me, really struggle getting booked at a lot of clubs, especially in the area I live in.
Right.
You know, like that's the name of the game for me.
And do you email those clubs and then tell them what a terrible job they're doing?
No, I just try to
You know what I do?
Mm-hmm.
I just keep sending emails, and I am never mean. Like I just say, "Here's my avails."
What do
and
you do? What's your cycle usually? Do you go like 3 months?
I do it monthly.
Oh, really? Nice. That's what's up.
Like I got into the habit of just doing it monthly and just sending it, and nobody fucking emails me back.
Yeah. As your career progresses, I always think I think. See, I don't have a system of people. I just kind of be like, oh, it's been a while since I've emailed. Like the Comedy Fort in Denver. I've wanted to work there for a long time. I think I probably send an email every 3 to 6 months. I'll send an email and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. Because I want that. I want to work at the Comedy Fort and have it be like an anchored date. And I have friends of mine that work at the Comedy Fort, friends that I feel like I'm on the same level as they are, and I don't hear anything back. But the thing is that there's all these bookers that you're emailing and being like, hey, I deserve a spot. I need a spot. There are so many people that also are in the same boat.
Well, it's not just that, but it's like, I'm also, there's so many people that are in the same boat. And also like I'm creating a show, but I think that there are, there's a certain everyone is a certain type of comic. I'm creating a show, and a show there is a like you can't put like this kind of comic with this one. Like you can't put like a super raunchy comic with somebody who doesn't say bad words, or vice versa. If you have somebody open who's super dirty for somebody who's super religious, that people in the audience are going to be like, "Wow, that's really weird." Or if you have all of the same kind of comics,
I want to know who this super religious comedian is. You're booking.
There are a few.
There are a few. I've met religious comedians. They're interesting. One of my favorite people, Sam Ellefson.
I was going to say Andrew.
I used to work with him a lot. He's fantastic.
Andrew Frank.
Andrew Frank is the opposite of religious.
Well, he do all of his material is about religion.
It is all about religion, but he's not religious.
Right, but I'm saying like, okay, so if I put him with somebody who's pro-religion, then it's a very...
But also Andrew's very, very respectful, and if you put him on a show with somebody...
Right, but
I know what you mean.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm talking about.
Like,
I'm talking about tailoring a show and making it good.
Yeah.
So if I have 17 fucking white guys... I'm sorry, I can't pick all 17.
That's a lot of people on a show.
No, I'm saying to pick from.
Yeah.
And so I can't pick, I have to pick the one that makes the most sense for the show. And it isn't always going to be you.
Yeah. Or it might never be you.
Exactly. And
I think whoever's sending these emails, it seems like they've cemented their case for it never being them.
Well, they've made post about me on Facebook.
Wow.
It's not going to be you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Which is kind of nice for them, I would imagine, because now at least you don't have to worry about the unknown. That's the thing. Okay, so with stand-up comedy, right? When you send those emails and you don't get responses, right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. I thought when I got good at stand-up and I started sending these emails, the hardest part would be rejection. People saying, no, you're not a good fit.
Right.
I've barely ever, maybe out of 20 emails that I send, I get one back that's like, no, you're not, this isn't going to work.
Right. Yeah, because then you just don't email you back.
If I send 20 emails, I get one back that's like, hey, let's work something out. I get one back that's like, no, and then I get 18 nothing.
Right, nothing. Right. Yeah. But you don't, but you just keep sending them. I keep the same format every time. I keep the same verbiage. Nothing changes. I'm like, hey, here are my avails. I hope you're having a great day. And then I send my bio, I send my fucking video, and I send my link, all that shit. And that's it. I don't send sass. I don't send comments. I don't give commentary about what the hell they're fucking doing on their job.
Yeah. It's crazy that, folks can't just leave it alone. Because another thing that works really well, I've found, is like if you're not in a spot, like just keep working hard, kill every show you're on, like build a reputation as being very funny and very respectful. Eventually you'll run into another comic that knows that person and knows that person and knows that person. Most every place that I perform now, it's because I'm on a show with somebody and I did very well on that show, and I was also very respectful.
Right. There's
And
definitely something
that's the move.
there's something to being, I've been saying it I call it polite pestering. Like be up their ass. Like let them know that you want to be booked. That's fine. But don't cross the line.
You motivate me sometimes because I know how hard you work at that part of it, because that's something that I'd rather just do another gig with somebody that I already work for. Than try to build like.
And I mean, you have that luxury though, because you don't have to. You aren't. I'm still creating those connections, and
it's strange. It must be strange for you to be on both sides. Do you think that kind of creates, because you're booking and you're trying to be booked? Do you think that creates like, what's the word? Do you think you have unrealistic like expectations of comics because of how well you communicate?
No, not at all. Okay. No, I don't think so. No, I think I asked for like the very basic, of stuff, and being funny is, the second most important thing. Obviously, the first one is thinking that I'm funny, and and no, just Trey. You didn't laugh at that.
Trey, I think Trey, you're having.
Are you? Do you have your headphones on? Do you have your headphones on something else?
No, he's listening to a different podcast.
Are you watching?
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
It's great. It's wild, huh?
Yeah. No, I don't think that I have unrealistic expectations. I think that I don't think that at all.
I'm not saying, I was asking.
No, I know. Yeah. Just, but with that, being said, everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Please send your avails. Please, but just also show me some fucking grace, man. Like, show me some grace. Like, I am working my ass off, and like, I will find a spot for you when it works. Yeah. Like, I promise.
There's too many comics. Right, there's way too many comics.
There's so many comics, and like, and so, and I am not trying to be a dick, but like, I am going to continue to ignore the people who are fucking rude to me. And I have that luxury. I don't give a shit what the industry standard is. I don't care. Like, I didn't sign anything when I decided to become a comic, when I decided to open a bar. I didn't agree to like do anything by the book. So
I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but there's comedians that have different skills in different areas. There's comedians that are very funny that have absolutely no business sense whatsoever. There's comedians that are high climbers at making connections and like having that business sense, but they suck on stage, and then everything in between. Right. So sometimes you'll get somebody who has both, and it's like, damn, and they're usually just right to the top. You know what I mean? That's what I see. Actually, you know what's funny is Zane. Zane is Zane is funny and also
insanely hardworking.
Yeah, and gets people out to shows.
Holy guacamole! And
then there's a lot of people, I'll bring his name up, but my friend Henry Williams, who was extremely funny, but like hated the comedy business stuff, like, and promotion and stuff, but on stage, like, he murdered. It was great, and it sucks because I would trade like 10 of these like hustlers over for just one. To have Henry do comedy with me would be the best, but he, it's not for him, because I feel like for guys like me, like, I'm funnier on stage. Definitely I'm up there. But as far as like the business sense, like, it's torture sometimes. Yeah. Like, it's torture sometimes. The whole not hearing back.
Yeah.
From and it.
I prefer not
people,
I prefer not hearing back.
I want people
to like you.
Yeah, and when people don't book me, I want them to regret it.
Yeah.
And there's different ways that I can do that. You know, I want them to regret it, but not be angry at me. I don't want them to try to make them regret not booking me by being an asshole in the next email.
Right.
You know, like
big booking.
Yeah, because that shit is not.
See, yeah, I think my mindset is if I don't get booked, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Like,
That's a rough way to go about it, though,
but well, it's not intentional. It's just that's the way that my inner monologue goes. So it's like whenever, like it's like when I,
you get booked on stuff though.
Even once in a while.
Yeah. You're doing a bunch of stuff with me.
I mean, you booked me on a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
That counts.
No, I did. I was doing a show every day this week.
Yeah. See,
It's gonna be fun. I wasn't saying. No, I was saying that when I don't get booked, it's like, oh yeah, sure. Just like when I bomb, I'm like, oh, that makes.
You're making me. It's so funny. Like nothing makes me more like than talking about like booking comedy shows and not booking comedy shows, because it's like that is so hard for me to do, to like be rejected, and that is essentially like what it is a lot of the time. And then the other thing that's hard too is when somebody shows some interest and you don't know how interested they are, and like they seem like they're dragging their feet.
Yeah.
And sending like those follow-up messages. Hey man, just checking in on this, seeing how it's going. Like, oh.
But like I literally, but like to me that doesn't. It's totally fine. Like Thai Boys, I sent him a link to the song. Like, oh, I can't remember. Don't you forget about me.
That's awesome. I bet that worked for Ty.
Yeah, and it was just like, hey, and it was just like, don't forget. Or every once in a while I'll go in and I'll heart if like somebody left me, or they said something, because it happens. Like I've done it, and like, and that's that's one of the reasons this particular person is so angry. Like you said, like, well, I could tell you all kinds of shit. Like didn't matter. But like I forget what I was talking about. But
we're gonna do, by the way, I get to announce this now. That it's probably going to be me, Jess, and Lynette Manning that we should get in here. We're going to do a spring tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do like a 7-day deal, or maybe even a 9-day deal, and go all over the place. I don't know. I have to talk more with Lynette about it, but I think it'll definitely be.
Did you call her? I thought you were going to. Didn't you call her?
You know what? I did call her, but we talked about some other stuff because I wanted to see if she could do a show with me. So we'll see. But yeah, I feel for you. I don't know. I wish I could tell you that, I'll tell you this, I don't think it's going to get better. No. But I think that you'll get better at dealing with it. And I think you already have. I think you already have. Yeah.
I just ignore it. And I'm like, obviously, it's, I'm living rent free, but
yeah.
I'm just wondering like how far it's going to escalate.
Yeah. Also, if you're a comedian and you're listening to this, and I know a lot of our listeners are comedians, stop.
Don't be an asshole.
Stop.
It's so simple not to be an asshole.
Yeah. Just don't we're all human beings. Right, we're trying to exist on this planet.
I have 4 jobs.
Yeah.
Like literally, I live in 3 different cities. I'm trying so hard. Please show me 3. Just like, well, I live in DuPont. Mm-hmm. I live in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I work in UP.
Oh, you live. Because I thought that meant.
I don't live in any of those. I don't feel like I live in. No, I live in DuPont.
Yeah, you live in DuPont.
DuPont.
Thank you.
DuPont. That's where I park my boat.
Yeah, I thought maybe that you were like a spy and you accidentally blew your cover.
No.
You're like, I live here. I live in Hamburg. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
See, I got Trey to laugh.
Trey
laughs at me.
Good morning.
Not you.
So, that was painful. I was like, that was actually funny. Like, why didn't you laugh at that?
I laughed.
So anyway, let's talk about what's really important. It's summertime. And during summertime, my favorite thing happens.
Is that trampoline naps?
I do love some leaning.
Yeah.
But yes, I do love whenever it gets really warm outside, I go outside and I take a nap on the trampoline. It's really fantastic. I always wonder what my neighbors think, but like it's really wonderful.
They probably think you're on drugs.
I usually am.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, but during the summer is the most important thing is Big Brother.
Oh God. I had a feeling this was going to be
Big
it. I didn't know
Brother.
it was a summer thing.
Of course, every summer. That's how you know it's summer.
Dude, I heard all I know about Big Brother is the dude got kicked off for
He
saying the
did.
N-word on Big Brother. Yeah. He's like a white dude, right?
Yes, and he it just like this guy Luke.
What's the context? How did he not that there's any good context for
No,
white people to
so-
be using the N-word, but I'm curious what the context was.
He was talking to Jared, black guy, beautiful black man, and he was they were all like chatting and they were talking about something and he was like oh yeah, I could sleep in the cheese bed N-word.
Oh,
And like he just said it. It was just like he
damn.
he lit, and then he said, and I quote, "Oh damn, oh sorry, it was just like a slip of the tongue." What? I'm sorry. What?
So crazy, man.
It was a what? It should not be.
Yeah.
That should not be a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, I hear that word used by. I heard it a lot when I was locked up.
Yeah.
But if you did it when I was locked up, if you said that shit and there was like black inmates around,
Yeah.
and they heard you, that meant that like you had to fight. Like it was
Right.
crazy. Like it was going down. Like it was the same as saying like punk or bitch or some stuff like that, you know. And so it's weird whenever I hear like white people say it, and I don't hear it that much anymore. I used to hear it a lot more.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, it's like it gets like immediately I'm like, oh shit, like something's going down.
Well, something
you
should
know?
go down.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they got kicked off the show.
Yeah. It was about
Anybody fight him or anything?
No, well, Jared, it was no, because the thing is with Big Brother is like it's all about managing people. And so like he can't really, if he reacted one way, you know, if he's like, whoa, you know, you can't say that, like then he's the angry black man. Like so he, you know, he just kind of he was like, oh, and he was like, you're out of pocket right now. Like, what are you doing? But then he like went on to like talk about like how, you know, it makes white people more uncomfortable than it makes him. And like it felt like he was, you know, not really bothered by it. But you know, just the way that Luke, I mean, he said it was just so casual.
Did they vote him off or did like
No, it's against the rules. Like in the
how long did it take him for them to like remove him from the house?
it was like the next morning. It
Oh,
happened.
really?
He did it at 1 a.m. I know this because I was awake watching it. And yeah, it happened at like 1. And then he got called to the diary room. It was like 10 the next morning. And he was, then the feeds went down and we didn't see anything for like a day and a half.
Really?
Cause the best thing, cause the thing with Big Brother is like you can watch 24 hours a day, like inside the house, like all day long. And so when a white guy drops the N-word at 1 a.m., there's a million people who are like, oh, I'm sorry. There was just,
Oh my God,
Did
I
you
can't
guys
even imagine.
rewind? Cause Luke just said the N-word.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And yeah, so yeah. So
They'll probably shoot to the top of the country western charts here momentarily. I can't wait for him to release a song.
I think,
hit him with a chair.
man, I might get hate for this, but words like the B word or like
Yeah.
the N word, like, oh, like I feel like they have such a double standard to them, for real.
Yeah.
So
Because like
to white people or
to anyone,
to
like
everyone?
to like so like let's say like two black people are having, and I'm half black,
yeah.
so you might have caught me saying it, but
Yeah.
two black people are talking and they're calling each other the N word, and a white guy walks by and says it, and then he gets beat up.
Yeah.
It's like, but you guys were just saying it. Or like a girl is like, oh my God, I'm a bad bitch. like, oh, I'm a bitch, or like,
Right.
yeah, do that, bitch, yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
And then you call a girl a bitch, and it's a thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
Well,
I don't know. Like, I know it's. I understand.
Yeah, it's
like
just other people just feel like that's the way you feel, and obviously
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
people feel
That's.
different. So
well,
I
it's
don't go around calling people. I don't go around calling people like bitches
right.
and n words. But
yeah,
in my
Well,
head,
it's
I'm
like
always like, like I wonder why.
it's
I
okay.
wonder why she got so mad that
Right.
the guy called her.
Well,
a
it's
bitch.
because when like it's like it's like my sister, like I literally, her nickname is Shitty. I think I've told you.
shitty bridges.
Yeah, and but it's like I can call her shitty britches and call her shitty and call her a bitch. But if you come around and you're like, yeah, she is shitty, and I'm like, what the fuck did you just say about my sister?
Yeah.
Like, why are you saying no? It's okay. Like, I can say it because like I know her and she is shitty, but we have a history.
Yeah. I I grew up around a lot of like redneck stuff and like some people that used horrible language for all types of different people. And I remember the first time there wasn't a lot of black kids in my grade school. But then when I went to junior high, it was like a lot more diverse because we were drawing in from like another side of Spanaway, basically. And I remember hearing black students in a circle talking to each other and hearing that word used differently. And even then, I was like, oh, well, I always knew that the way the white people in my life were using it was derogatory. And I could immediately tell that the way that they were using, that the black students I was around were using that word, it had a completely different connotation, because generally, like through that context, it was pretty easy to tell. And it's the same thing when I was locked up. Like when I saw some stuff go down, and it was like a white person using that word, it was very clear what that white inmates, why they were using that word. And see, I think when white people use it nonchalantly, like maybe they grew up in an area where like, because I worked with homeless youth in Tacoma, and it was weird because there was like a circle of like young white youth that would use that word. But even at the shelter, we'd have to be like, yo, you can't say that. And it was like, why? And I'm like, because somebody else will come in here and hear you say that, and it's going down. And like, it was hard to explain like the historical context and like what is a really complicated thing that I don't even feel like I have the right to like explain, but like basically like it's very different based on who's using it and why they're using it. That's what I have come to believe, and why.
But the fact that they are using it is the case. You know what I mean? Like now, like I hate it when you'll be at a concert or you see a video of like Rolling Loud or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, like look at all these white people saying the N word, and it's like I always think that's so stupid because like this rapper went in the studio, paid an engineer, put it through publishing,
Yeah.
BCI ASCAP, sent it to the world. And now you're gonna get mad when you're on stage and a dude is singing along. Like,
Yeah.
I think I don't know, like little things like that. Of course,
I don't know though. Even in my car though, like
I don't say it.
I don't say it.
Yeah, I just don't.
Skip the word, especially now.
Yeah, when I came to
it makes it hard. It makes it hard sometimes because I'm such a good rapper, and I can really keep along, but
I don't.
think that we have
But
jurisdiction.
no, I'm not saying that like everyone should go
so
around saying it.
bummed
But
out.
I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's just a word because a lot of people shouldn't use it,
ain't.
but it
No.
it does.
I had
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
It's a
time for Sam to tell on himself a little bit, and it's not about the N word. It's about the
That
F-
goes for the B word and everything too.
Yeah.
But go on, Sam.
It's not about the N word. It's about the F word when talking about gay folks.
yeah.
Not just gay folks, like straight folks. Like I used to use that word consistently. When I got sober in 2008, I was still using it a lot. And and it was strange because like I had a lot of people in my life that were gay, and my use of it was gradually declining just by the nature of the fact that I was around more like LGBT folks than I was before. But then like it was explained to me that word, when people are, actively under threat of, like hate crimes and whatnot, that a lot of times like that's the last word that people heard, shouted from the mouths of like violent oppressors, that's the last word they heard. And I think that the N-word is the same thing, is that I'll never understand what that word really means because I've never been subjected to its use by people that want to hurt me, And so what I do is address it. Like I would never police your use or non-use of it. You know what I mean, Dre? Because you being like half black, it wouldn't like. Why would I tell you?
I police it 50% of the time.
What I would do is like if I hear like other white people using it, which rarely happens now anymore, but it does happen occasionally. Is like that's kind of like. That's my opportunity to be like, hey man, like, you shouldn't say that shit. Yeah,
you call it out.
Yeah, and if I'm not, and what's weird is that there's been times in the past where I haven't called it out, and then I feel like a coward after that, because I know that that's something that that should be addressed, So.
Well, and that was one of the things, and that's why I like Big Brother. That's why I think it's really fun, and like because it is people watching, but it's also like understanding social norms, like, and why, like Jared,
from Subway, he's on there.
Jared,
I don't agree with that.
The black guy.
Oh, okay, different.
Jared from Subway is in prison.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's like
for eating sandwiches?
For being a pedophile.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Like
Sorry.
a huge like
Duggar
Duggar style pedophile.
Jim Stewart Allen's joke about so when all the Jared stuff was going on, Jim Stewart Allen went on stage and he was like, "Did you guys hear about Jared from Subway?" And everybody in the crowd's like, "Oh no!" And he goes, Jim goes, "Isn't it crazy how he lost all that weight eating sandwiches?"
That's awesome. He was, yeah. He did.
Do you know about Jared from Subway? No. Oh, see, you're a little younger.
You mean you don't know that you don't know about him, period?
So Subway had this guy named Jared, right? And he supposedly he ate like what, like a veggie delight or like what was his sub of choice?
His whole thing was like a 6-inch sub, and he lost like a shit ton of weight, and there's like a commercial where he held up his pants and like
and then he did these speaking tours. He was just all over. It was a very successful ad campaign. And then it came out that he was just like a rampant pedophile, like of the worst variety, like traveling the country and like
but it wasn't until like years
people.
Later.
It was wild, and now he's in prison. I thought he might have gotten out, but whatever.
I don't think so. I
don't know. He'll get out eventually. The only they still it's great anyway. What happened to the podcast?
You want to talk about the Duggars too?
No, I don't know anything about that. I know that one of them is a creep, right?
But no, it just those social norms, and how do you react as and then people start, the society is watching, and so they're like, oh well, the black guy did this, oh well, how did the white person, oh there was another brown person in the room, how did they behave, and so it's not just, you're looking at not only the person who said the N-word, but you're also looking at everybody else, they did it. And so were they silent, did they stand up, because you have an opportunity to be like, hey, whoa, but so yeah, it's just it's a fun. I love this game. I love it so much. But he did get kicked out.
We are different people for sure.
Because
I wouldn't. It doesn't. I don't want to know. I already have enough issues dealing with like social situations. Like watching other people do it. Like even right now, like I feel so anxious. That's the way you just described this show. I was like, oh my god, like that
It's
is
really fun.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, sorry.
No, this has been a tip top episode of the Tarp Report. Jess, I'm grateful. You seem like you're finding joy in some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm good. I've had my shows have been good this week. I am like the shows that I'm booking. Like I'm getting this week. I had a guy message me because we had Andrew Rivers record his special last weekend at the bar all weekend, and it was a huge event which I did not go to because I was I realized yesterday it was because my anxiety. I'm like whenever I go to the bar, my anxiety just fucking shoots.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't go last weekend because I would have been just miserable.
Yeah.
But so I'm realizing that, and like but I got an email from one of Andrew's friends
No, awesome.
earlier this week, and he is from one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh.
Yeah. And like from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, I
And
thought it was the guy on Big Brother that said the N-word messaged you. And
No.
It's like, no, it wasn't him. It's somebody else. Okay,
no. Yeah. No, whatever. No, I mean like the quality of people who are messaging me
Yeah.
and like who I'm booking.
But isn't that just going to hold local comics back even more?
It really is.
Isn't it? Isn't that the big
It is.
issue here? Jess is big time.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
luck
big
getting a
leaguing.
hold of her.
Yeah.
You should have another email for the comics.
For just
for good
local.
comics to message you.
I like localseattle.com.
Oh my God.
And then
That's fantastic, though.
No, it's amazing. And I'm like, wait a minute, this dude like who messaged me, I literally listened to him like at work, and so I feel good.
It's good. I wanted to talk about, what's funny is because we usually are 2 episodes ahead, but this is going to come out on Monday. So we're going to be in Issaquah on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be in Olympia on Thursday.
As am I.
Yeah, and you're on that one too. Yeah, me and Jess are doing 2 shows together, Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday I'm in Hood River, Oregon.
Nice.
And then Saturday I'm up in Blaine, Birch Bay, which is by Blaine, Bellingham area up there, up north. So up by Vancouver, BC, like right there. You could spit and hit Vancouver, but you'd have to be able to spit at supersonic speeds.
Yeah.
That's
Gross.
Yeah, gross. If you could spit like a jet engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be able to make it. So yeah, we got that going on, and I just got back from a 9-day, a 9-day comedy tour with my boys, and
your mom,
and my mom for the last half. And I'm a different person now, and I
how so?
don't know if I'll ever be the same because I feel like I just aged about. I feel like I aged about 2 years, and I feel like the kids did too. But overall, it was amazing. Like it went really, really well. It's just really hard in the morning when I'm on tour, and it's like, all right, I pack up the CPAP. I usually have stuff ready to go. I have my clothes laid out for the next day. Sometimes I'll take a shower in the morning. Sometimes I take one before I go to bed. Depends. And I get a cup of coffee. I'll usually just drive for 3 hours nonstop immediately when I get down the road. But with kids, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like that. There's tablets and chargers and dirty clothes and swimsuits and stuff because we were in the pool, But overall was fantastic. And honestly, I think I did 8 shows and there was only one bad one.
That's good.
But I'm not, I wanted the one bad one. This was one of the worst shows in 9 years this is one of the worst shows I've ever done.
In 9 years or
In
9 years or 9 days?
No. In 9 years of doing comedy.
Okay.
I don't know where it ranks, but just terrible.
What happened?
Shows. So much weird stuff happened. First off, it was in Reno, right? And it was in a part of Reno that this isn't this like the main drag. This wasn't at a casino. It was terrible. It would have been better. Yeah, I know this is going to sound crazy, but it would have been easier for me if there was less people there. Because there was probably 13 people there, and 4 of them came out specifically to see me because they saw the Bob and Tom stuff and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I felt so bad for them because there was 6 or 7 comics before me. Everybody, no, it was like, I'm exaggerating. It was like 5 or 6, and they were each doing 15 minutes. Yeah. Or maybe there was a couple that did a shorter set up top. Either way.
Yeah.
It was
That's a lot.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. The one comic right before me, he got a couple laughs. Mm-hmm. But one of the comics, and this blew my mind, is like he did his set, goes over to the bar and starts talking during the other comic sets. Like, and talking to the girls, like, so I could like hear him,
right.
you know? And it wasn't like he wasn't initiating conversation, but he wasn't trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went up there and I managed to get everybody's attention. I was like, oh my God. Like, and I did pretty well. Mm-hmm. Like I did pretty well, like all things considered. But the minute I started doing well and I got everybody's attention, I immediately had this like huge resentment against everybody there except for the 4 people that were like there to see comedy. I mean, like I was cool with them. But then like these girls at the bar that just wouldn't stop talking. And then like I finally get them paying attention. One of them tried to like heckle me, but I literally just shouted her down, like screaming, like, because I went up there and I was like, man, like, I just told you basically what I said. Like, it feels so good to know how to do comedy so well as to get all of you to listen to me. Like, I know how to do comedy, but I'm looking around here and my question is why? Why do I do comedy here? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Like, but I was like yelling.
Oh, you were saying this wasn't internal. This was out. Oh.
This was me yelling to this crowd, why am I doing this? But it was getting laughs. So I'm like, I guess I'm winning.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, yeah. And then it was funny because I eventually, like I did 30 minutes. It took me maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes to get everybody's attention. I have everybody's attention. I do my like merch push, which seemed ridiculous. I did sell 3 shirts, so whatever. And then I get ready and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do my closer, right? And like, I do a closer and usually like, I've never had that joke not hit. I've never had it not hit. I was doing the big people sex thing where I fall in and I'm like, is that a triangle? And like, Nothing. And I've never had that joke not work. Like, you know what I'm talking about, Trey? Yeah, I've never had that joke. Like, nobody laughs. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, so I was like, I got to do another closer, right? So I do this other closer. It gets a good laugh. But then what happened is I reached for the mic stand where I usually put the mic stand. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm on the right side of the stage. Reach for the mic stand. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's no mic stand at this show. So I'm like, looks like I got to do another closer. So I did another closer and it did like, okay. And I was out. And then the night after that, I went from Reno to Boise for the last show of the tour. And I almost sold that place out on a Tuesday because there's a lot of people that like me in Boise.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that likes me in Reno except for those 4 folks.
Right.
And by the way, those 4 people, if you're listening, thank you. And
Steve,
I can't wait for
Melissa.
you to see me again. Yeah. Steve, Melissa, Dave, and Carl.
I love you guys.
Thank you for coming out and saving my ass. But yeah, all the Ty Boyce's stuff went well.
Good. Great.
The Yard was more, oh man, that set was amazing. I played peekaboo with a baby.
Cute.
And I made everybody else play peekaboo with a baby. There was a baby there, which was kind of weird, but also really funny.
That's my thought.
There was a very old Vietnam vet that wandered on stage with his walker to give me $5. And then
It'd be weird if it was a young Vietnam vet.
Yeah. It would be weird if it was a young Vietnam vet. And then he did it again.
Oh, you're just wandering about.
Yeah, he came back on stage, but he was like, he really
Was he trying to
liked
find
my
the bathroom?
stuff. No, he wanted to give me $5 because I was very funny.
Oh, man. Did you tell him that $5 isn't what it used to be?
Yeah, there was a drunk guy who asked me the dumbest question, but he raised his hand, which I'm always a fan of when hecklers raise their hands. Yeah. I don't know. I shouldn't have called on him because he probably would have just sat there with his hand up the whole show. But I was doing the jokes about like, I'm like, being a dad is like the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm going into this bit, And he raises his hand. He's like, is it hard being a dad when hard stuff happens? I was like, yeah, dude, it is.
No, absolutely not. That's actually the easiest part.
Yeah.
It's when
I would say, and I was like, I'd actually say the hardest part of anything is the hard parts.
Yeah.
Like we could all agree on that.
Yeah.
So
Well, he raised his hand.
Yeah.
You didn't need to call on him.
No, I have to because he's being polite.
Right.
And also that show, there was like this energy there because there's a lot of those people that have seen me a lot of times. So I'm forced to do newer stuff. And that's why I'm excited about my Olympia show on Thursday is because I have a lot of jokes that are stuff that I did 6 or 7 years ago that I'm reworking now.
Yeah.
And like finding new things and realizing that these jokes that I wrote, because I'm still like, I haven't been writing a lot. I need to go to more mics, but I don't want to. So that's my problem.
Yeah.
I thought about going up to the club last night.
We had fun last night.
Yeah. I almost want to go up there tonight, but I'm going to the races. It's going to be rad.
We don't have a mic tonight. We didn't have a mic last night either, though.
Yeah.
We had a double show with Brian Boucher.
Yeah. How did that go?
It was great.
Good.
He flew in from New York. He messaged me. It just sucks because like it's so hard with Seattle. It's so hard with like just what we have found in the nature of like the ticket sales is that there's nothing. 2 hours before the show, 50 tickets. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's very stressful and it's hard to plan. So, like, I have Brian who's flying in from New York. He's like, hey, like, I just want to make sure that, like, the show, he's like, I don't want to buy this ticket if, like, the show's going to get canceled or anything like that. And I'm like, which we haven't canceled a show before, but, I'm like, okay, well, as of right now, we are sitting at 0 tickets sold. But,
I hate it. It gives me
well, exactly. And so it's like by Friday morning, it's still, but it ended up, we had 50 something for the first show. And I think like almost 30 for the second one.
There you go.
So it's like, it works out, but
that'll work.
It's just very stressful, but no, it was really fun last night.
Yeah. That's rad. Yeah, the booking conversations and the low ticket sale conversation. Wow, not.
Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah, it's well, but I will say it makes it very hard to podcast.
Yeah.
When okay, sorry.
Whenever I'm like, oh,
right, when you don't want to talk about
scaring me,
this stuff,
Jess.
but like I'm like. Okay, like you don't want to talk about Big Brother, you don't want to talk about booking, you don't want to talk about
we
it's
did
like
talk
okay.
about Big Brother.
I know, but then you said you're like I don't care about this.
Oh,
and it's like, got it.
Well,
got it.
I could learn to care.
I know, but that's not what you said. You said I don't care about this.
Well, I care more about it now
not
than I
interesting
used
to me.
I care about it more now than I used to.
But it wasn't low ticket sales. Like it.
Yeah,
it's
they did well.
It's just that the point was that it turned around.
I'm glad it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
I hope Big Brother has a happy ending. I hope they all find their brothers, because that's what they're looking for. That's actually what Big Brother is about. It's like 10 little brothers, and they're all trying to find their big brothers.
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of dudes hanging out, and it's like, who's your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Is that what it's about?
There actually is a mother and daughter, or a mother and son on the show that nobody knows about.
Oh, really? They didn't tell anybody, their mother and son? Do they have to pretend to meet each other and stuff? That's weird.
It's fantastic.
See, that's a little interesting.
Oh, it's insanely interesting.
Yeah, it's insanely interesting to a lot of people. Yeah.
It's been on for 25 seasons, so
Do you know LeBron James might play with his son eventually?
that would be incredible.
Do you think that's
imagine
interesting?
I don't think that I wouldn't. If you brought it up to me, I wouldn't be like, no, I don't. This doesn't interest me at all.
Oh, I didn't mean to sound like that. I've never watched it.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. That's why I was telling you about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Trey, do you think Big Brother's interesting?
I don't. I think you're missing the point.
Never heard of it.
You're missing the point.
Dang, you've never even. I've heard of it.
No, but I'm sure it's good.
I actually think it makes the podcast better.
But I think you're missing what I just feel like you're just the stuff that I'm talking about. You just don't want to, talk about.
I was listening to you.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about the N-word and its use. But that's what's going to happen, because that's what happened on Big Brother.
Right. Yeah. And actually, you brought that up.
Which none of us,
This little bug.
none of us condone that.
Using the N-word.
Just to finalize that, none of us
No, of course. Yeah.
condone it.
No.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. Great. Good. Good.
So we're gonna be recording 2 episodes next week, Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll be back. We'll have some in the bank again,
Hopefully. Yeah.
one in the bank at least, and then this is gonna come out on Monday. And yeah, you can see us doing comedy. It's weird when we're a week ahead. I'd almost just want to keep it like this because we could talk about our shows the next week.
Yeah.
But it's scary because then if something happens,
Right. And if you have to leave.
we're screwed. And then I'm gonna have to leave. So yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk more on Tuesday.
Okie dokie. Have a good day.